So I'm Natalie Lowe, I'm the captain of Altrincham women's first team and I play central midfield. Quite a long story, I'll make it short. So I used to play from about 4 years old. My dad was an academy coach at various clubs, but mainly at Manchester City, so football's always been in our house. So I played from a really young child and then progressed through junior teams, ended up playing at Stockport County Academy in the early 2000s, I think. So long before football has got like a structural progressive system that it's got now. And then played up to about 16, stopped playing at 16, took up golf instead. Played golf for a long time and then took up football again 3 years ago when I was 34, so quite a gap in playing, but nice to be back now. Obviously, at that time, I was the only girl that played football that I knew of. And then some local teams became available. So I ended up playing for Macclesfield Town. They had a junior girls team. So it was very segregated. I think girls football was not something that was encouraged so much like it is now. And it definitely wasn't out there in terms of, you know, media coverage. And even in school, my high school didn't have a girls football team until I think I was about in year 8 or year 9. And even then there was just enough people to make a team. It wasn't something that was encouraged. Not like, you know, that we have nowadays in terms of like the influence of the Lionesses and how that's progressed and dripped down to younger ages as well. I think this is the highest level we've played at, certainly the furthest we've got in a lot of competitions. So last year was the first time we'd won a trophy in God knows how many years, a really long time. And I do think the Lionesses winning their first Euros, was it four years ago, has had a massive impact on the development of women's football in the UK. I think that's just highlighted that, you know, that women can play to a good standard, and having it out there in the media and on TV for younger girls to see has made that change. That's made people go, actually, I want to play football, because if you can't see it, then you don't know that you can do it. So having that out there has made a massive impact. And then obviously them winning again has just sort of reiterated all those original messages. I think it helps everyone be a bit more inclusive, because I'm the oldest in this team, so I'm by quite a long way. So my experiences of school would be quite similar to yours as well, where girls and boys were very separate. It was almost, if you were a girl that played sport, you were a tomboy. You know, you weren't a girl, you weren't a girly girl, you couldn't do both. That was just like society's image, I think, years ago. Whereas now I think that's massively changed, so you get girls that can be a girly girl if you want to be, and you can be good at sport at the same time. And I think historically, girls, when they get to like their teen years, typically fall out of sport because of those things. You know, pressures of exams and schools and boyfriends and that sort of stuff, and all of a sudden you don't play football anymore, you don't play hockey anymore. And I think being part of a group that keeps you within that inclusive space of being able to continue a sport at a high level, but know that you can have a life outside of that. It doesn't have to be that one path and that's that. To be honest, I think it's just everywhere now, which is great. That's how it should be. You know, like I did, I just sort of contacted Altrincham, who are my local team, to just get back in touch and be like, can I come down and train with you? And they were obviously really nice and just said, yeah, you know, we're always looking for players, come down and train, meet everybody. But I think the good thing now for younger girls is they can start that at school. You know, they can play football in PE, which wasn't a thing until the Lionesses campaigned for, you know, football to be included in PE and sports education in schools, which is ridiculous that it's not been a thing until then. But now girls have that opportunity to go, oh, I can try football at school, and if they like it, they can then go and join local teams, and then you don't know where that might lead to from there. Yeah, so we're having a good season so far. So last season we got promoted from Tier 7, so we're now into Tier 6. We finished, I think, 2nd or 3rd in our league and got promoted that way. We also won a trophy last year as well for the first time in a long time. And this year we're having a historic F.A.Cup run, getting to, so far we're in the 3rd round proper. And I don't think Altrincham had got past the 1st round qualifying up until this year, so this is like a massive achievement. So we've had to win 3 qualifying rounds. We've then won round 1 and round 2 as well, and we're now in round 3, which we'll play next week at home at Moss Lane, so looking forward to it. Well, massively, because that's my career. I'm a personal trainer by day, so I've always been into sport, fitness, anything along those lines. I will have a go at any sport. Football is my main passion, the thing that I love the most. But I think with sport, it ticks lots of boxes. You know, you've got the mental health benefits, the physical health benefits, the sort of social benefits as well, like you mentioned, being part of a team and a collective team goal that you get to share together. And having the opportunity to do so much more nowadays as well for women, I think is massive. You know, you're not just restricted to going to Zumba or step at the gym. You know, you've got so many different options. You see that, you know, women playing rugby nowadays as well, which never would have been a thing years ago. And then obviously that can filter down into kids as well. Like I've got my friend's little girl plays cricket to a good level. You know, she's only like 9, and you think even that sort of 5 or 6 years ago wouldn't have been an option. So it's great now that society's changed and we've got these different avenues that women and girls can take. I think it's massive because that's something that carries you through your whole life. For someone like me, I've made a career out of sport and fitness and found a passion that I enjoy that, you know, I can make an income from. I've made friends that I'm still friends with nowadays that I've met, you know, as a child, playing various different sports that are some of my best friends now. But I think a lot of it for me is having like a sense of achievement and like a collective goal, because I think as you get older and you become an adult, life gets quite mundane sometimes. You know, it's going to work, paying your bills, doing the not very exciting things. And I think if you're part of a team or you play a sport that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, you can start to direct a lot of your time towards getting better at that sport as well. So that might make you want to train in the gym and might make you want to get fitter. You know, then you've got the bounce back of like the mental health benefits, feeling good about yourself, or, you know, taking on a role where you might become a coach and you're teaching other people. So I think being in any sport, I think, is one of the best things that anybody can ever do. Absolutely, I think the main skill for me is like probably resilience. You know, when you're playing football and you might be losing, you have to dig deep, and it's about not giving up and putting effort in. And it's one of those things where I think you get out of it what you put in it. So if you're willing to work hard, you know, like you would do in the gym, if you want to get fitter, you want to look better, you want to be faster, stronger, whatever it is, you've got to put the graft in to get there. And I think that carries on through everyday life as well. If it goes into your schoolwork, if you want good exam results, you have to work hard. If you want to do well at work, you've got to work hard as well. It's not just going to land on your lap. And I think sport teaches you a lot of those natural lessons that you probably don't realise it's doing, but actually it's giving you a lot of transferable skills for everyday life. I think for us, having a home pitch and somewhere that we can call like our own pitch is really important, because we train here every week, so we know what the surface is like. And when we come to a match day, we're used to playing on that surface. And I think for us, having a big pitch here is really important, because that fits our style of play as well. It's something that we can use to our advantage. And I think having good facilities is really important, because you want to feel comfortable on a match day, you want to feel confident. You know, we've played at a lot of away grounds that have not been the nicest places to go to, you know, horrible changing rooms, horrible toilet facilities. And I think that does feed into the vibe of like how you feel on a match day. And if you know you're going to a good pitch, that's a good surface, it's consistent, and you've got nice facilities to go with it, it just breeds a little bit more confidence, I think, in the team as well.